and innovations are nurtured and nourished, and the byproduct of that practices are obviously startups. The present government, uh, since last uh, a decade or so, has been giving so much importance to job creation. There was a time that job seekers in reputed academic institute like ours has given so much importance to placement and trading, where of late that particular wave has changed, where students are now coming to us and saying that we opt out of placement and we look forward to create our own enterprise. And I wish a time like that will come in future in every institute, where this kind of culture, the entrepreneurial culture, will be respected and will be promoted. Every educational institute has their own way of running it, and predominantly those educational institutes stands with four pillars, and the pillars are the students, the faculty, the alumni, and the processes. When I say processes, I talk about administration, I talk about support services, I talk about ancillary centers, and these four pillars generally set an institute. And the greatest of institutes have the strongest of pillars. But with time, educational institutes and the administrators of this institute realized that we need to move ahead with these four pillars and think about additional pillars which will not only create a sense of innovation and creativity among the faculty, but also at the same time it will be a walk of life, it will be a way of life in the institute and all its stakeholders. Talking about my experience of last one decade, where we at NIT Rourkela created an ecosystem which has completely changed the mindset of all the stakeholder of ours. And I will share how did we do that at NIT Rourkela. And I expect, because all of my participants are faculty, so after the session, when they reflect upon what is being told to them and they practice what is being told, or they at least take a step forward that something can be done in terms of creating an entrepreneurial mindset, entrepreneurial ecosystem in their institute, probably I can do justice to my talk. Every institute has run with curriculum, and probably in many institute now entrepreneurship is part of the curriculum. But entrepreneurship always remained limited to classroom. And once entrepreneurship concepts and theories are explained, there is nothing much that can be done because it is only limited to writing the answers in the examinations and student getting a grade and passing out. But when you do that, we do not do any sort of justice to the country's development or in terms of developing a product or commercializing the product or making the product marketable or any sort of innovations. Where better countries like Israel, Japan, Korea, they have given entrepreneurship as a very, very thrust subject in their curriculum, which is not confined to the classroom, but it goes beyond their classroom. So, taking inspiration from one of the visits that have gone to President House in New Delhi, where delegations from across the all developed nations have come. One thing that strikes us in that meeting is making entrepreneurship and product development a very part of the first year curriculum of any UG or PG program, and make that particular course compulsory, and that particular course will be part of the curriculum in every semester. So one semester course will take over to the next, and the next semester course will be carried forward to the next. And at the end of every particular program, the student is expected to make a product. And when I say product, I am not talking about only technological products, or I'm not talking about only tangible products. Any forms of products, let it be a technological innovations and invention and innovation, even its service innovation, is also invited, and students are encouraged to do those kinds of innovations from very first semester, very first year of their academic program. You have heard of this MobiQuick. MobiQuick is a startup which just started from first semester of a BTech program, and they end up making this startup. So if we promote students who have encouraging ideas, not only related to engineering and technology, but in every subject or in every syllabus, then probably will tinker their mind. So what can be done is first making entrepreneurship and product development as part of the curriculum of every subject, of every stream, of every discipline, and make it as many credit as possible. But do not confine this particular subject limited to the classroom. So it cannot be confined to any classroom, rather it can be in a product development form. Now, any department or any institute developing a product or creating an ecosystem does not happen inside the department. For that, a center has to be created, a space has to be created where this tinkering of these ideas will happen. And for that, this incubation center is a must. Incubation center doesn't tell to create a big building, creating a huge infrastructure, buying machines, purchasing equipments, and giving all sort of facilities to a student or an innovator. Rather, creating a space for students or faculty or non-teaching staff of an institution who can go there and who can execute their ideas. Because ideas at the end of the day are raw thoughts. And to convert thoughts into ideas and ideas into product, we require a very, very serious ecosystem where all the supporting services are given. And when you give these services, then probably the students will be encouraged to convert their ideas into reality, their dreams into products, and their products into marketable products. And that's why first thing is creating a center, and the size of the center doesn't matter, because once this center is start in a smaller space, and when you find the students are gathering momentum, gathering steam, coming together, sitting there, making tinkering, making discussions, making brainstormings in that session, then probably automatically the institutes at large will be forced to provide a space where this kind of activities will take place. Even if you see the National Education Policy, NEP, which has recently been implemented countrywide, the requirement for a tinkering lab, even in school level, is a must. Now, every primary schools are bound to have a tinkering lab where students will go make things, break things, fly drones, make bulbs, make diodes, triodes, anything they can do. But they will play and they will learn. They will fail and they will grow. That kind of a ecosystem is now compulsory even at school level. So when those students come to college level or PG level or university level, they have to set the ball rolling. And for that, the institute has to set an incubation center where this creativity, innovation, startup, entrepreneurship, product development will go hand in hand. And for this, if students will find a peer group, is a friend group where frequency matches with each other, then probably they make the best use of it. In our incubation center, the current students who are studying at NIT Rourkela, make the place a happening place when all their classes are over. Means that place become a happening place after 8 p.m. So from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., the incubation center becomes a more happening place, because that's the time when the student devote all their attention beyond curriculum and they think something which they can create in terms of a product. When I conceptualized this incubation center way back in 2014 at NIT Rourkela, we have only two students who were interested to do something, because being in Odisha at Rourkela, student coming from around neighboring neighboring states, our DNAs are not made to be entrepreneurs. So when two students came up, it just set the ball rolling for me to gather momentum. So we started with only two students who wishes to be entrepreneurs. And by 2020, before this COVID lockdown, we had around 131 students who had come to our incubation center, registered themselves, and they have written to our training and placement cell that we will not sit for placement, rather we will make our own startups. And from 2014 to 2020, that is within 6 years, we have created 30 startups. In fact, it was 31 startups. And those 31 startups have provided employment to more than 250 needy people who are coming to our incubation center, working for and on behalf of the startup and getting livelihood for themselves. And those startups created employment. And you'll be happy to know the two startups that I mentioned who started their journey in 2014, they become self-sustainable. And that owner of those two startups, the name of that person is Amya Samantrai, who started in 2014. And the name of the startup is Phoenix Robotics. It is now rewarded by President of India as one of the most promising startup of the country. And that particular founder was sent to Denmark and Sweden to know and to educate himself about how to grow his startup by the government of India. And in 2019, that particular startup has come to our NIT Rourkela itself to hire students. So that's the story. Means that particular person who opted out of placement in 2014 came to our campus placement in 2019 to hire students. So that's how the success story is all about. And when you create one or two success stories, it becomes infectious. When students start knowing about, yes, our own students have become so successful, earning in millions, giving employment to hundreds of people, then that particular energy becomes infectious. When you have success stories, you tend to follow those success stories. And those two startups in 2014 have given rise to 61 startups now in the campus. So this is how you create an ecosystem where one will bring another one will bring another one, and that chain lasts for a long time. And now we have a full-fledged incubation center. How this incubation center functions. Before I take to the next level of my talk, this is just I talked about the introduction part, that how incubation center functions. How incubation center started. I will next go to how incubation center functions and how to create incubation center at your own institute. Can I take a few questions, or Professor Singh, you want me to take it forward? Professor Singh? So let me talk to the participant directly. Can I take some query or I move forward?
Sir, you proceed, sir. If any participant have any query, you may raise your hand so that
so it will be let us make it more interactive, because if I can keep on speaking, then probably I will leave certain queries or certain questions, then it will not make justice. So better I will address them one by one, then I will take to the next level.
Sure, sir. Participants, if you have any query, you may ask the question directly to the speaker.
No query yet, sir.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now, what are incubation centers? Incubation centers are a Section 8 company, that means not for profit company, which is created and established under Indian Companies Act 1956, which revised in 2013 and again re-revised in 2019, that the incubation center has to be a Section 8 company. It's for not for profit company. The only objective of this company is to foster creativity and innovation. It may be a part of educational system or educational institute, or it can be also a private incubation center completely independent. The Department of Science and Technology, Ministry of MSME are the agencies or are the centers which provide funds to start an incubation center. Now, before starting incubation center, the preconditions of starting any incubation center anywhere, the first precondition is that particular center has at least 5 years of experience in running an entrepreneurship cell. If the center or the educational institute do not have experience of running an entrepreneurship cell, then probably setting an incubation center is very, very difficult. So the first precondition is the educational institute should have an e-cell. Nowadays, every educational institute, say it private educational institute or government institute, every institute has an e-cell where this kind of business plan competition, some business quiz competition, product development competition, they organize simultaneously, and those entrepreneurship cell, or somebody calls it entrepreneurship club, they do it simultaneously. So if you have experience of 5 years, then probably you can apply for an incubation center. Now, if you do not have the liberty of having an entrepreneurship cell, then you can start one by applying to National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board, NSTEDB, which is an organization under Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. So if you write to them, then they will grant you 1 crore rupee, from 50 lakhs to 1 crore rupees, where you can start an entrepreneurship cell, and the time duration for that is 5 years. In 5 years, the deliverables from your side will be that at least every year you will invite applications from students related to product development, where every year 5 student teams will be selected by a duly constituted committee of the institutes, where they will be selected based on their idea, the feasibility, the viability of the product, the competition, the price cost ratio, and 5 teams will be selected. And every year, the deliverables from the educational institute side is to give 5 products to NSTEDB in complete form. So in 5 years, 25 products will be developed. Even if it is not developed, even if the prototype is also developed, that will do. So, and for every product, the Department of Science and Technology will give you a quantum of 5 lakh rupee. So for every project, 5 lakh rupee will be sanctioned by Department of Science and Technology. And in addition to that also, there are other contingencies that also can be given. So for 5 years, you can smoothly run the entrepreneurship cell, which is called a next gen e-cell. It means next generation e-cell. And with that experience of 5 years, you can apply for an incubation center. Now, this particular rule has been made more flexible by saying that in 3 years, if you have developed at least 10 products through e-cell and at least you have applied for 2 patents, then you can get the incubation center status by Department of Science and Technology. And when you get into the status, get it into the applying of being an incubation center, then there are other things that is being told to you, whether the institute is ready to provide you space. The minimum space that is required to start an incubation center according to Government of India is 10,000 square feet of space. So if you have 10,000 square feet of space available, then the head of the institute will ascertain, will certify, yes, we are ready to give 10,000 square feet of space to the incubation center. And with that certification, you can apply for incubation center, and you will be called for a presentation about what kind of product you have developed in the past, what kind of activity student and faculty undertake in terms of entrepreneurship, what kind of facility the institute or the college will provide to the incubation center, and all those kind of prerequisites. And when you successfully defend the presentation and you successfully convince the panel member, then you will be awarded the incubation center status. The incubation center status are of three types. One is a startup center. Second one is a technology business incubation center, which is called TBI. And third one is a research park. So depending upon your applications or depending upon your particular proposal, you will be chosen in terms of which kind of this three type, out of these three type, which one you deserve. So if you deserve to set up a startup center, then you will be given with a tune of 1.5 crore to 2 crore rupees to start a startup center. Startup center actually small form of incubation center. And all new institute who applies for incubation center, 70% of them generally get into this. So around 70% of them get into this startup center status. Then around 20% will go for a TBI, that is called Technology Business Incubation Center. And you once you get this TBI status, the quantum of funding is around 5 crores to 10 crore rupees. And this is generally given to established institutes who have a rich experiences, say 30 years, 40 years of experiences in promoting technology or social sciences or any form of education, and with a proven expertise on entrepreneurship, where alumni are successful entrepreneurs, where alumni have created brand image in terms of entrepreneurship around the country, are known figure, and the institutes in the past have developed so many products and have applied for so many patents, then probably you will get a TBI status. Then after TBI status, if the institute is so good, it has a legacy of creating a product and entrepreneurs, it's a big institute like IIT, then probably they will fall into research park category. Research park category is a tune of 100 crores. So big IITs, established IITs, they fall into the category of research park with a funding of 100 crores. So this is how three types of incubation center exist. The time when we applied for at NIT Rourkela, we applied for incubation center status. We got the TBI status, the Technology Business Incubation Center status, and that time we got a funding of 4 crore. I'm talking about 2015. So with a 4 crore, now that has increased to 10 crores. Now, once you get the award letter from Department of Science and Technology, there are certain preconditions that it is given that you have been provisionally selected for setting up an incubation center, but provided you satisfy the following conditions. The first condition is the incubation center should have to be a Section 8 company. That means that day your application is approved, you have to catch hold of a chartered accountant and apply for a Section 8 company. And Section 8, because it is Section 8 company, it is an independent company, and it will be run by its own board of directors or board of governors. The head of the institute under which the incubation center is going to set up, the head of the institute is by default the chairman of the board of directors of the incubation center. And at the same time, those board of directors, generally it requires minimum 2 to maximum 12 number of board of directors to start an incubation center. So you can have 2 or you can have maximum 12. And those 12 members constitution may be, as I said, the head of the institute become the chairman. Then if you have dean, principal, vice principal, director, registrar, they can be part of the board of directors. At the same time, you can have the professors who is leading the project, he can be one of the board of directors. Then some alumni who are successful, they can be one of the board members. Your students who are now successful entrepreneurs, they can be board of directors. Then representative from the banks, lead bank of the institute or the incubation center, they can be part of the board of directors. At the same time, any representatives from the government organization, it may be state government, it may be central government, it may be some successful NGO working in that area, or it may be any women entrepreneur working in that area, so they can be a board of directors. The role of board of directors is to mitigate the challenges that the incubation center will face early on, and they will navigate the effort of the incubation center in the right direction. So they are more into an advisory level or advisory capacity. So board of directors are the main pillars of that incubation center, and the board of directors will hire a CEO who will head the incubation center, and that is the prerequisite number 2 in the letter, which comes from Department of Science and Technology to Educational Institute. First is setting up a Section 8 company. Second is the incubation center will be run by full-time staff and a CEO. CEO is a must. CEO is a person who doesn't belong to the institute, rather he comes from external places which is not related to the institute. He will be a completely independent person with experiences, with proper networking, with better skills, who can run the incubation center. So CEO and full-time dedicated staff, like you can have a couple of managers. One is a manager technical, one is a manager commercial, another one can be manager incubation and outreach. So 3-4 managers you can have. Then you can have incubation associate and assistant, and the salary is defined by Department of Science and Technology, and that salary grant is also manpower, which we call manpower grant, is also given by Department of Science and Technology. So if you get a good team, then probably half of the job is done, because it is the team which will drive the success of the incubation center, because regular faculty, full-time faculty cannot give that much of time which is expected in an incubation center, and DST knows that, and probably that's why they want this full-time dedicated manpower that will be employed in the incubation center. And the incubation center will get 5 years support from Department of Science and Technology. In the first 2 years, they give 100% support to the incubation center. In the third year, they give 80% support. In fourth year, they give 70% support. And in fifth year, they give 60% support. Now the question is, from where the rest support will come from? As I told you, first 2 years, it is 100% support. Third year, it is 80%, means 20% of revenue has to be generated by the incubation center. In the fourth year, 70% will be given by the funding agency, and 30% will have to be generated by the incubation center. And in fifth year, 60% is given by the funding agency, and 40% of revenue has to be generated by the incubation center. So after 5 years, the DST and the funding agency expect the incubation centers to be self-sustainable. So you can run the incubation center by the revenue that you generate from your internal sources, and no more funding will be given by the Department of Science and Technology. You may approach other organizations, other funding agencies, PSUs. In PSU, there is a sorry. In PSU, there is a special provision that under Corporate Social Responsibility Scheme, CSR scheme, the PSUs can give incubation center grants related to development of the infrastructure, at the same time giving seed grant to the startup. And this particular addition was made in 2019, where this provision was not there in the CSR Act. But in 2019, this was added in the CSR Act, that any incubation center, provided that incubation center is registered and recognized by central government, then that particular incubation center can request for grant from CSR fund of the PSUs or even private organizations, and that CSR fund can be utilized in development of the incubation center. So after third year, it is a tough time for any incubation center, where your grant start squeezing and you start looking for alternatives or options where you can generate or you can get more grants from elsewhere than from your parent funding agency. So that's how you get into the groove and you set an incubation center. And when you get that grant of 10 crores from Department of Science and Technology, everything is predefined. Means how much of recurring expenses you have to make, how much of non-recurring expenses you have to make, and the subheads are also clearly defined. Every incubation center during the presentations in the first stage were asked about the focus area. Means on which focus area you want to work. So generally, those who are technical institute, they can write their focus area as, so for example, industrial automation, renewable energy, IoT. But some universities like where all sciences, arts, commerce, every subjects are taught, then probably they will pick their focus area in that way. For example, poverty alleviation can be one focus area, or say for example climate and environment can be another focus area, or you can say e-commerce is another area. So every institute can choose their own focus area in which the incubation center will be dedicated to work. So focus area is a must, because when your incubation center will be registered in the portal of the government, the first thing that will be your identity is in which focus area the incubation center work. So in future, if any aspirant or any innovator wishes to work in a particular area, and he finds that your incubation center offer that particular expertise, then he will come to you and ask for incubation support. So that's why every incubation center have their own focus area. So this is how the application process of getting an incubation center. Now getting into how to run the incubation center. Now, if a student or an innovator wishes to do something or create something or choose a path of entrepreneurship, then the first thing that you have to do is he has to give an application to the incubation center, and that this is my idea and I want to take it forward. And this kind of idea, you will get multiple ideas like this from various student category. And when you create an idea bank, we call it an idea bank, where all these ideas are kept. And you form an evaluation committee, which is called an idea committee, which will evaluate these ideas. And those evaluation committee have representation from various departments, so that you have expert across discipline who can evaluate the ideas given by the students. So yeah, when you look at when the idea committee sits for a discussion or for a brainstorming, and all the ideas are brought to their notice, generally they divide those ideas into three categories. One is promising ideas, one is marginal ideas, and one is rejects. So all the ideas were asked to kept within this three category of promising idea, marginal idea, and rejects. You will find many rejects, and those are not worth taking up. Rather, but you find many ideas to be marginal ideas, and very few ideas to be promising ideas. So if idea is promising, definitely they go to the next round. But if the marginal ideas are those ideas where the possibility of getting selected and possibility of getting rejected is equally likely, but what we do is we never reject any marginal idea, rather we want them to take it forward to the next level. So all marginal ideas and promising ideas were given opportunity to take it to the next level. What is the next level? The next level is a pre-incubation stage. The pre-incubation stage is a stage comprises of 0 day to 6 months, where these particular students, innovators, were given facilities and space where they can sit and execute their plan for 6 months. In 6 months' time, the student will get to know, at the same time, the personnel of the incubation center will get to know whether they are really serious enough to take it up or not. Because many students, for idea's sake, they come and they give their ideas, but very few of them are really serious and want to take the idea to the next level, that is idea 2.0. So in that pre-incubation stage of 6 months, the real test happens, where thoughts are migrated into ideas, and ideas are migrated into actions, and actions are migrated into products. And if in that 6 months there is some evidence that the ideas are worthy ideas, and those ideas are worth taking to the next level, and the time, the cost, and the investment that will be made in that idea is worth taking, then the evaluation committee of your institute will uh, give them green signal from pre-incubation stage to incubation stage. In pre-incubation stage, nothing is required. In pre-incubation stage, only some space and some facility and some minor grant. In our case, we give grants of up to 30,000 to the student innovators so that they can meet their petty expenses. And sometimes most of those grants are fail. But even if we get in a year 10 student innovators who can take up their can take up from pre-incubation stage to incubation stage, then probably we consider ourselves fortunate. So pre-incubation stage lasts for 6 months. If the idea becomes successful, if the student is serious, then what we do is we ask the student to get registered their company. Register their company as a private limited company, or register their company as a LLP, that is limited liability partnership form. So if they register their company, or if they uh, float it as a private limited company or limited liability company, then they have ample opportunity to get grants, not only from the incubation center, but from there are so many agencies which look forward to giving grants to promising startups. The startup that I mentioned in my earlier address of that Phoenix Robotics, of our first startup, got grant of 50 lakh rupees from government of Karnataka. He got 20 lakh rupees from government of West Bengal. They were making a product called a weather monitoring device, which will be implemented in different parts of a city, which will be connected to a server centrally, where the pollution level, the weather parameters are communicated so that the smart city pollution control mechanism can be accelerated. So they got multiple grants from multiple cities to run that particular project. They also got the grant from the incubation center. At the same time, everybody else come in looking at their idea. In Odisha, we have Startup Odisha. We other states have their own startup promotion mechanism, startup promotion organizations who are ready to fund bright ideas and to give them right amount of or right quantum of money to take it forward. So once the startup get registered, then when the student get the company registered, then only that particular company will be called as a startup. If they are not registered them as a private limited company or a LLP, then probably they will not be called a startup. Rather, they will be just be called as a student innovator or student creator, product creator. So once they have created the startup or registered themselves, then the time for their incubation in the incubation center is for 3 years. So they remain in the incubation center for 3 years. And in that 3 years, they will be given all sort of handholding, all sort of mentoring to take their ideas to the next level. If they want certain amount of training that needed to be given to them, then the incubation center will send them to the right expert. If the expert is in India, anywhere in India, then probably everything, all the cost will be borne by the incubation center in sending that person to get the right training. They want certain equipment, then probably that equipment will be purchased. If they want certain facilitating services, that will be done. If they want to apply for a patent, then all the cost of the patent will be borne by the incubation center. So all sort of services, all sort of handholding that is required for the startup will be borne by the incubation center for 3 years. Every year, the progress of that particular startup is monitored. If the progress is satisfactory, then probably they will be granted another year. and 3 years is a bare minimum time. But if still the startup wants to stay for 1 more year, then 3 + 1 year maximum will be granted. In exceptional circumstances, they will be given 4 years. Otherwise, after 3 years, the startup gets graduated. The startup also get advantage by remaining in the incubation center because they save cost. They have access to all the facility, all the labs of the institute. They can get in touch with faculty or students who are working in that area. They can take advisory services from the faculty of the institute. They can hire intern, both summer intern and winter intern from the institute, and they indulge them in their own work. So in that 3 years, what is most important is cost cutting, because they do not have any capital to uh, run their business lavishly. So the more the cost cutting on the part of the startup, the better it is, and they execute that cost cutting plan to best of their ability with the support from the incubation center. The incubation center gives them grant in terms of monthly grant, then need-based assistance, and 3 is product development grant. These 3 support is given by the incubation center in terms of financial support. First is a monthly grant, second is a need-based assistance, and the third one is a product development grant. So depending upon the requirement of the incubatee or the startup, the appropriate grant is given to them. When the incubatee sign an MOU with the incubation center, it is made sure that he signs the agreement that the do's and don'ts when he remain with the incubation center, what he is supposed to do. And the most important aspect that we look forward to in an incubation center is we take 2% equity of the startup. And then we also charge rent uh, depending upon the prevailing peer price in the city or in this geography. The rent is being charged from the incubatee. The 2% equity is being held, and everything else will be taken care by the center. But one important thing is the show must go on. The activities, the development, the creativity of the particular startup must be given a sufficient evidence to the incubation center that the grant that they got is being better utilized. During 3 years of journey, we have witnessed that around 30% to 35% of the startup they back out. They believe that it is not worth continuing their dream. They find there are a lot of obstacles, there are a lot of challenges, and probably they cannot meet it. We consult them, we ask them to take it forward. We ask them that we will give all sort of support to them, but at some point of time they realize that it is not worth taking a chance, and they backtrack, and we also welcome that. But those incubator startups which believes that their dream is just beyond their touching point, and they go forward, we do all side of support, and they then go to the next level. After 3 years, what happens? After 3 years of their stay with us, they will migrate to the next stage called acceleration. In the acceleration stage, they go to another acceleration center, which is across the country, where they were given grants with relation to marketing of their product. Because in 3 years, they develop the product. And after the development of the product is just about taking the volume up and finding the right customers, finding the right market where they can execute their selling strategy, their sales strategy. And for that, the acceleration center, we call ourselves business incubation center, and the next level is a business acceleration center. So in that business acceleration center, they will be given all networking support, all marketing support by government and non-government setup to find customers or to look for export of their product or to find opportunity where their products will be sold. And then that particular acceleration stage lasts for 1 year. And after 1 year, then the startup gets matured and that seriously develop into a company which is now ready to run. So at any point of time, if you wish to liquidate the 2% of equity, if the company gets bigger, then you can liquidate the 2% and that becomes one of the revenue of the center. As I mentioned you that the Department of Science and Technology likes the incubation center to be self-sustainable. The first question arises that from where revenue will come from. So as I told you, first revenue source is looking for other opportunities, looking for other grants. Suppose you got grants from Department of Science and Technology. Other grants can be availed from other organizations. Like as I told you, Ministry of MSME, Ministry of Rural Development, other department, other agencies, other ministry, they also provide support to the incubation center. Second one is looking for CSR grant from PSUs. Third is forwarding applications and looking for opportunities from training and development programs, sponsorships, then consulting services, or giving your lab, the lab that you create out of the funds that you get from DST. You can also give that machines on rent to outsiders. They can use the machines and you can get rent. You get rent fees from your incubatees. And then there are other areas, other revenues from where also you can get some revenue. It is very difficult to get revenue to start with, but slowly and steadily you realize, yes, there are areas, there are opportunities where revenue can be generated. But anyway, you have to find a way where you can develop yourself to be self-sustainable. You should have at least more grants to feed the salary of your staff at some point of time, because you have a CEO will get not less than ₹1,00,000 per month. You have managers whose minimum salary will be around 50,000 per month, and other staffs. So that say for example a 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs of rupees per month is an expenditure towards manpower. So at least 5 lakhs of rupees has to be from internal revenue generation. Very easy to say, but very difficult to execute. But yes, we have to find a way, because it is made mandatory from day one by the funding agency that this funding is not for ever. At some point of time, this company has to be self-sustainable. Second point probably which I missed is the incubatee or the startups or the creators, innovators. Those are not necessarily from your educational institute. They can be from anywhere from the country who wishes to be part of the ecosystem, who wishes to take the product development forward via or through your incubation center. So your incubation center is open for everyone, for every demography. It may not be a student. If a housewife wishes to do something, they are invited. If a farmer wishes to do something, they are invited. Any walk of life, anybody can come to the incubation center and apply for an incubation space. And if you find that idea to be interesting, to be enthralling to you, and you think that your committee thinks that yes, this idea is worth taking forward, then yes, incubation center is open for all of them. And that is the reason why incubation center are created, because most of the time the creative person, the innovators, they do not find the right ecosystem where they have to execute their ideas, and those ideas in the absence of an ecosystem die a natural death. So that's how things move on. Challenges are many. There are a lot of obstacles in the road. You won't find right person all the time. You won't find good ideas. But when you walk in that lane, slowly and surely, that you will find the right kind of people who joins you as a team to take the incubation center forward. At the same time, you find right set of students who come forward. They build the startup, they take their startup dream forward, and an incubation center becomes successful, or your ecosystem becomes successful when you get more students. And once you get more students, they will attract many more students, because as I told you earlier, that one success story will lead to another success story will lead to another. So best of institute in our country, the best of incubation center like IIT Bombay has Sign, IIT Kharagpur have their research park, IIT Chennai have their research park, so is IIT Kanpur, and there are a lot of private incubation center also. They are doing well. So they did not become successful overnight. It took them decades to come to limelight. It took them decades to encourage, invite students to take up entrepreneurial journey. And in the form of creating an ecosystem, this dream of generating more employment through job creators rather than job seekers became successful. Thank you very much. I look forward to few of your queries or few of your questions to take forward.
Dear participants, if you have any query related to the incubation center or starting off any centers in your institution, so here the expert is available. You may ask any question related to that. Because entrepreneurship is something which is a challenging issue, and almost every institution, if you talk about, they all are looking forward for the revenue generation. And with the help of this, it is a wonderful opportunity where we have an expert with us who has already established an incubation center in-house in NIT Rourkela and have struggled a lot to achieve success for that. So if you have any query, you may ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Sandeep Goyal. Yes. Well, honestly, I'll just take 2 minutes, to introduce myself, because, in the earlier session, I also get an opportunity to speak, but I didn't get the right opportunity to introduce. So I'll just take like maybe 10 seconds or 15
Please
seconds.
go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
My name is Sandeep, and actually I'm a dropout, right? I'm not a faculty, or I do not have any kind of institute, but I have a dream. So I started my startup by the name of Chidiyawala way back in 2016. And my idea is to cultivate people, that as the same, that many ideas, they fail because they do not get the right ecosystem and all. So with that, I started. And now I am also coming up with the human cultivation idea. I have started a new brand by the name of Relaxus. So in that, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up a process through which we can pick up the right students, right? Or not right students, we can pick up the students, because students are always right. अगर मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि हर बंदा जो है वो डॉक्टर बन सकता है, इंजीनियर बन सकता है. There are different qualities. So we are trying to help, in that direction. So my straightaway question here is, do you also help startups?
Yes, we do. That's why incubation centers are created, because to help the startups, to do the handholding, do the mentoring.
Okay. So I think for like in this we can say forum, that is the only question, because for more details, I would be contacting you later.
Sure. It will be a pleasure, hosting your query and yourself.
Thank you.
If any other queries there, we welcome.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yes, madam.
I'm in Galgotia College. I'm Dr. N. Lakshmi. So we have our incubation center also. But like for women, for girls student, I think we are not enough to motivate them. Will you please guide us how we can help them or keep them motivating to come forward? So because few of the students are doing good, but our female students, they are not coming forward. So what we can do for them?
Very good question, madam, because this is the similar problem that we faced some 7-8 years back. But what we did was the incubation center took initiative in counseling students, going to their labs, meeting students, let it be girl student, boy students, and telling them the the potential that lies in entrepreneurship. Telling them success story of women entrepreneurs, say Kiran Majumdar saw is a very, very successful success story. So when people listen to success stories, they get motivated. And if you create 2 girl entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, I'm guaranteeing you 20 more will come. It is only breaking that ice. Once you create that first and second, always in incubation center, the first and second step is the most difficult step. Then the fourth, fifth, sixth, and nth steps become very, very easy. So if one girl student or girl entrepreneur becomes successful, then she will invite many more. And if you create the first one, you have to go close to them, meet them. The incubation team will get in touch with them, uh, take their confidence forward, and develop their ideas into reality. First is difficult. Second, third is very easy.
Okay, thank you. We will try it. Thank you so much for your
ठीक है,
guidance.
आप लिख के क्या है उसको लिख के दे दीजिए, हम देखेंगे.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
ठीक है, मैं बात करेंगे.
Do we have any other query?
ठीक है. बाकी ये उत्तम को बोल दिए थे क्या? उत्तम.
Do we have any other query related to startups or entrepreneurial intention among the students? Because here we all are academicians and it is our responsibility, our duty to encourage our students for entrepreneurship. So if you have any query, you may ask, or we will wind up the session. Okay. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for your time, valuable time. It has been an insightful session for all the people, those who are actually looking forward for incubation cell or entrepreneurship cell in their colleges.
My heartiest welcome to the convener and the co-convener for giving me the opportunity to speak. I spoke from my heart. Whatever experiences that I gathered, it just came so spontaneously that I know I didn't need a paper or a PPT to support myself. It's just out of my heart, and that's the experiences of getting beaten, getting thrown down, and elevated myself again. Every time I fall, I rise again in my entrepreneurial ecosystem creation journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks,
participants. We will meet tomorrow in our very first session, that is for financing the sustainability. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Singh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.